Hi friends, welcome back. Today we're going to continue to read Junie B, first grader, One Man Band. We'll start with chapter 5 in just a few minutes. Before we get to chapter 5, I just wanted to let you know how pleased I am with your connections, and some of you are still asking questions. Amazing job sharing some of your fabulous thinking while reading. Let's go ahead and take a look at our reading as thinking chart and kind of refresh our memories and look back to all of our great thinking that we've been doing. So let's start with our questions. And as always, you always know what I will say about our questions is they always set a purpose for reading, because as we read, we want to try to find answers to those questions. So our first question is, will Junie be okay? Something we're still wondering about. She doesn't seem to be okay about the kickball tournament, although she started to kind of feel down about Sheldon's halftime show. So we'll see if things kind of turn around for her, and also what's going to happen with her injured toe. Ava and Shaylin are wondering if Sheldon will be okay. Remember, he has that big bump on his head. Jolene's wondering, is Sheldon kidding about being hurt? What will Junie's classmates think of her sneaker with the hole in it? Nothing's come up from that. We thought maybe her classmates might say something about her sneaker with the hole in it. They haven't. Maybe they will as we continue to read. Grant's wondering, how long will it take for Junie's bruise to go away? Good question, Grant. Zendaya is wondering, when will Junie get back on the bus? Remember, her mother has been driving her to school in the morning and picking her up in the afternoon. So I'm wondering when she'll be able to get back on the bus. And obviously Zendaya is wondering that as well. Igor is wondering, when will Junie be able to wear her regular shoes again? So if you recall, Junie was wearing sandals to school, and now she's wearing the sneaker with the hole in it. So when will she be able to wear regular shoes again? And Jen is wondering, will Junie's toenail fall off? So with an injury like Junie's, typically the toenail will fall off. So we'll see what happens. And then connections. So the kickball tournament reminded me of third grade when I played a lot of kickball during recess. Aiden made a connection by explaining that he was the star of his soccer game when he kicked the ball over the goalie's head. Ariana also shared that she daydreams like Junie B. She daydreams of being a princess someday. Natalie shared that Junie has been feeling grumpy about her injured toe. She shared how she also gets grumpy when her dad is too tired to play with her. And Aria shared how Sheldon was feeling happy about his halftime show. This reminded her of a time when she was at an Irish parade, and she felt so happy when she saw one of her teachers was at that parade. And then some predictions. Aria thinks Junie will march in a band. Niles thinks Junie will get scared and cry in front of the people watching the band. Aiden and Shaylin don't think Junie will behave. Natalie, Parker, and John are thinking that May and Junie won't get along. So great predictions, friends. We'll hopefully be able to confirm some of those as we continue to read. And then an inference we made recently, Mr. Scary had a headache. We were able to conclude that with the idea that Mr. Scary was taking some aspirin. We also used some clues from previous stories to know that Mr. Scary had a headache. And we'll be talking about inferences tomorrow. Thoughts? I'm just kind of hoping school reopens soon so that we can have our own kickball tournament. And I'm still kind of feeling bad for Junie. So these are some great things to keep in mind, friends. So today we're going to read chapter 5, which is titled Lemonade, and focus on making connections to the characters' traits. So yesterday we looked at character feelings and emotions. So let's get our other chart back up to review. And when we looked at character emotions or feelings, we talked about describing how a character feels at a certain time. And we were asking, how does the character feel right now? So some examples might have been scared or surprised or angry or upset, or even maybe excited. Now today our focus is on the character traits. And character traits describe the character's personality. So when thinking about the character's personality, you can ask, how does the character usually behave? So these are some examples. The character can be kind or determined or outgoing or friendly or brave or energetic or mean or bossy. And thinking of Junie B, we can think of Junie B also as sometimes being a little bossy, but also being a little energetic. She's also funny. She can be disrespectful or mischievous. She's also is very imaginative. She has a great imagination. And as we all know, she's really funny. So friends, I want you to be thinking about these character traits and think about how one of the characters in our story behaves. So your learning target for today is, I can pick a character and describe his or her character trait. I can also prove my character trait by using information from the story. As we read today, I want you to be thinking about one of the characters and see if you can describe his or her character traits. You can also be thinking back to the beginning of the story as well. So let me stop our sharing so we can start to read chapter 5. And chapter 5 is titled Lemonade. I know we had a question about this chapter yesterday. We were wondering what Lemonade would be all about, what this chapter would be about. Maybe they were going to have some refreshments during the kickball tournament. So let's see. So after school, Mr. Scary called Mother at her work, and he told her that I got disappointed about the tournament. That's how come for dinner that night, Mother made my favorite meal of spaghetti and meatballs, plus she and Daddy tried to be extra nice to me. I know you're upset about not being in the kickball game, Mother said, but everyone has disappointments in life, honey. I was still, in a bad mood. I hate disappointments. I hate them, I said. Daddy patted me. Yes, well, we all hate being disappointed, Junie B, he said. But Mr. Scary said, you can still do something fun in the tournament. I did a mad breath. Ooh, I hate that tournament. I hate it, I said. Daddy squinted his eyes at me. He said, just please stop saying hate. So she's saying hate, which is not very nice. And she also, remember, has that mad breath. After that, Daddy picked me up and he carried to my room for a time out. I hate saying hate. I hate it, I said. It was not unexpected. I waited till he was gone. I hate timeouts. I hate them, I whispered to my stuffed elephant named Philip Johnny Bob. I hate them too, Junie B, he said back. So one of Junie's character traits I can say here is being a little mischievous. So she's kind of causing trouble. She keeps saying hate, and she also did a mad breath. And we can kind of look back on other things Junie has done and say that she has also been mischievous at times. So this would be a character trait. I hate everything you hate. You and me hate everything exactly the same. I hugged him very tight. I love that guy. After that, both of us flopped on my bed and we calmed ourselves down. Pretty soon, Mother came and got me, and she took me back to the table. So I'm kind of glad she was at least able to calm herself down. So looking at her picture, here she is on her bed, and there she is with Philip Johnny Bob, her stuffed animal elephant. And so let's see what happens. I did not talk to Daddy. Also, I did not talk to my baby brother named Ollie, because he is just learning words, and all he keeps saying is moo. Mother tried to be nice some more. Are you sure you wouldn't like to be a cheerleader, Junie B, she said. I know you couldn't jump up and down on your sore toe, but you could still yell and shout for your team. Daddy did a chuckle. And yelling and shouting are right up your alley, he teased. I did not laugh at that remark. So thinking back to Junie again, this is another character trait. We know Junie is always loud and she yells a lot, not only in this story, but in stories we've read before. Daddy poked me. Oh, don't be so glum, he said. Being a cheerleader wouldn't be so bad, would it? Every little girl likes cheerleading. I rolled my eyes at the ceiling, but I'm not every little girl, Daddy. I am just me, Junie B. Jones, and I don't want to be a cheerleader. I want to be on the kickball team. Just then, my nose started to sniffle very much. I even had a daydream about it, I said. I was the star of the whole entire game, and it was very wonderful. Only now that is never going to happen. Mother gave me a hug. Well, no one can be a star all the time, she said. It's just like I said earlier. Everyone has disappointments sometimes. Right, said Daddy. And when life hands you lemons, you have to learn to make lemonade. I looked weird at that man. Huh? I said. What's lemonade got to do with this? So this might start to answer our question on why this chapter is titled Lemonade. So let's see what happens. Mother smiled. It's just a saying, Junie B, she said. It means that when life goes a little bit sour, remember lemons can be sour, you need to find a way to sweeten it up a bit. Just then, Daddy went to the refrigerator and he took out 3 lemons. Here, look, I'll show you, he said. He held up the lemons for me to see. See what I have here, he said. They're just 3 sour old lemons, right? I did a shrug. I guess so. Daddy grinned. Ah, but maybe these sour lemons are more fun than they look, he said. Then one by one, he threw each lemon into the air. And wowie, wow, wow, he started to juggle them. I mean it. And there she is, friends, being loud and starting to yell again. He did. My daddy juggled those lemons way high in the air, and I didn't even know that he had that talent. I clapped and cheered, very thrilled. Ollie clapped too. Also, he said moo. Then all of us started to laugh and Daddy did a bow. Do you see what I mean now? He asked. I turned 3 sour lemons into something more fun. And you can do the same, Junie B, said Mother. All you have to do is think of something fun to do in the kickball tournament. And then your sour situation will turn happy too. Understand? I nodded very fast. I do, Mother. I do understand, I said. And guess what else? I think I already know what I'm going to do. I jumped down from my chair and I picked up the lemons from the counter. Oh, can anyone guess what she might do? Can you make a prediction here? I think I'm going to juggle, I said, very joyful. I'll juggle in Sheldon's halftime show, and then everyone will clap and cheer, and I will be the star of that whole production. After that, I stood in the middle of the kitchen, just like Daddy did, and one by one, I threw each lemon into the air. I kept my eyes on them very perfect. Only too bad for me, because 2 of them crashed into the table, plus the other one hit Ollie in the head. He started to cry. I patted him real fast. So Junie, we can kind of say, looking at another character trait, is kind of what I would say accident prone. She always seems to be involved in a lot of accidents or unpleasant things that happen to her. So for example, the accident with the toe, the juggling accident. Remember Squeezer, her swim ring in a previous book? And she also had an accident with the juice on her graduation gown in another book that we've read. So lots of examples of how Junie is accident prone, which is part of her personality. We can describe it as a character trait. Then I quick picked up the lemons and I hurried up to my room because juggling was going to take a little practice apparently. And there were only 3 days left until Friday. So here she is practicing. There's Ollie. And that ends chapter 5. So now I'm wondering, will Junie learn how to juggle in time for Sheldon's halftime show? So that makes me think of a new question. And chapter 6 is titled Practicing, which makes me wonder, will she continue to practice her juggling skills? So friends, think back to chapter 5 and think about everything that has happened in the story so far, thinking back to the beginning. Start to think about how some of the characters have been behaving. Can you identify a character trait that describes one of the characters and prove it with information from the story? So you will now go to Seesaw and look for the activity that I shared with you, and it's titled Character Traits, and complete the attached chart. You only have to pick one character. And remember, you can also think back to the beginning of the story. Your teachers are looking forward to seeing your completed work. Have a great day, friends.